in the Times now, there is a health crisis in Scotland. So let's ask Leo about this, as I'd say you look pretty healthy for a Glaswegian 15-year-old.
Thanks, Simon. So Scotland has the highest rate of preventable deaths in the UK. I mean, bear in mind, they're talking about the UK, not like... I mean, this isn't a wide survey that they've done. It's literally 3 or 4 countries. But
countries, yeah, that's true.
Preventable deaths have been falling steadily since the turn of the century, but progress stalled in 2015 and they began creeping up. Bear in mind that the SNP sort of seized power. I say seized, they were voted into power, and I think it was 2014. So
we're back to crystal meth again.
Yeah, well, more crystal meth.
Active ennoblement.
It's more crystal meth than crystal nact in Scotland's case. So basically what we're seeing in Scotland is a lot of deaths, partly because of the pandemic, because the pandemic was terrible for people's mental health, alcoholism, substance misuse and stuff like that. We might have saved some people from COVID, but they were mostly fat or old and sort of deserved to die. But there's also long-term drug addicts in Scotland, so people who've been using heroin or using prescription opioids for decades in some cases, and they're getting to the stage now where their bodies just can't handle it anymore and they're falling down dead. And you see this a lot in Glasgow. Just walking about Glasgow, I was up in Glasgow at the weekend, you come across people who've just fallen over on the pavement and there's ambulances and stuff.
Yeah.
But there's also the SNP's failing. So they've been so focused on independence that they've forgotten about delivering on the sort of core work that government should do around, education, running a proper public service and also health. And
can I ask, in terms of health, you may not have the answer to this, but I'm interested, is heroin like a street drug, or is this like the fentanyl, like the opioid epidemic in America where they start off as prescription drugs?
Heroin is an appetizer in Scotland.
Okay.
And heroin's a big problem in Scotland. But yeah, people are using fentanyl, people are using prescription drugs are a huge problem in Scotland. So people are using those. And the SNP introduced minimum pricing for alcohol, which means alcohol is too expensive. So people are using prescription drugs instead to get high.
Because, obviously in America, and I'm keeping coming to you, this is the first time we've done this show, and when I get bored of this, I will stop sort of nagging on this now. But America has certain places where there is drugs and homelessness and the shortened lifespans. They're usually like San Francisco, for instance, which is a kind of sanctuary city, but that actually attracts people into it, doesn't it?
Right. Well, the weather is... So I was in Edinburgh and I saw youths like nodding off in the street, and I was like, wow... Yeah. Scotland people, way harder than America. San Francisco, the weather is, the same temperature most of the year. So the fact that we're even at this point, takes a lot to kill a Scot.